Hey, what's up, man? Hello. It's been a very, stressful couple of hours. But I do have a new power supply on the way, and I hope that that will fix the problem. From what I've seen, it should. But the good news out of all this, despite it seeming like it's all bad news, is that Amazon is letting me pay in installments now for some reason. So, I might just get a computer upgrade out of this. I'm trying to look at the bright side. But that depends on if the new power supply fixes the issue, which seems to be the root of everything, including a USB port's not working, problems recording and stuff. Like, all of that should go away, hopefully. I hope it's not the motherboard, but I seriously doubt it is, because I got an error a couple days ago when I unplugged my SSD. It started freaking out and saying that it didn't have enough power. So that seems like what's causing it. I'll just have to wait and see. It won't be here for another 2 days. So I'm probably gonna not play too many power-intensive games for a while. But yeah, I could get like a 4070 Ti can be like completely future-proof. But I'm kind of want to wait until I have a good idea of exactly what's wrong with the computer. Right now, it's a little bit silly to go agree to pay sign a contract to pay for 48 months or however long it takes to pay it off. If something is wrong with the motherboard, I would rather get that instead. Because I'm only playing games at 1080p right now. I'm not really doing a lot of big dick PC bragging. I'm only playing at 1080p. I'm on a 165Hz monitor, but it's only 1080p. So the computer's like not really being pushed that much right now per se. It's mostly just a power issue. I've had this power supply for 4 years, and I leave the computer on like pretty much all day, every day. So I think it should hopefully fix everything. And if it does, then I can probably get a new graphics card. Just like be future-proof, because 8 gigs of VRAM is gonna start not cutting it very soon anyway. I think this is gonna be like one of the last years of 8 gig VRAM. So we'll see what happens. How are you doing today? doubt I still have a warranty on the motherboard, but that might be a possibility too. I hope it won't come to that, but there is a possibility that something else is wrong with it. But I kind of doubt it. From what I've been looking at online, diagnostics and stuff. Seems highly unlikely that it's something more complicated than that. Can you hear me? Let me make sure, because, like, my USB ports in the back don't work. I had to unplug, like, everything. Let me see. It seems like it's working. I need a little bit of feedback here. The stream should be fine, but I don't know if my voice is coming through. Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Hey, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. So my computer's all messed up right now. Just say yes or no. Let me know if you can hear me. Because I'm on a, handicapped computer right now. Alright. At least that's working. Thank you. You can go back to lurking now. Computer's a little, having some trouble right now. Let's just put it that way. But if I play stuff like this, it should be fine, and still have the Steam Deck, obviously. Yeah, I should get the new power supply in like 2 days. So hopefully that will be all that's needed. And they're letting me pay in installments, which is really awesome. So I might end up getting just a full computer upgrade out of this, but I don't want to commit to it just yet. Make sure that the power supply is the main problem first before I commit to more than that. Alright. Now, it's probably best to take this, actually. Probably best to take this, because that's just, really helps at this part of the game where this Muso turns into a Muso. Alright, this might be my third clear. This build's actually pretty good. We'll see what happens. How's it going? It's going a little bit better today, but definitely got some anxiety because I don't know if the power supply will fix the issue. But like I just said, I did learn that Amazon is letting me pay in installments now. I don't know, it's because if I buy so much stuff from them or what, but if I need to replace anything else, any donations that get sent to me will be for that. So might be a little tight, but I could replace pretty much anything that's wrong with it. That's a very good thing to realize. I didn't know that until last night. Last night after I stopped streaming, I found that out. So might end up with a even more future-proof computer out of this, which is not something you can complain about, really. But it's going to depend on a number of factors. If the computer is fixed by the power supply or not, which it might not be. I'm going to put this on for the damage taken. Yeah, I could get a 4070 Ti. That would be pretty sweet. Kind of wanted to upgrade my graphics card anyway, so maybe some good will come out of this. I don't know. But still got the Steam Deck, still got this, other smaller games to play, but computer's kind of crippled right now because the USB ports in the back don't even work. So I can like barely do recording and streaming stuff because I can't hook up like my hard drives or anything right now. So playing stuff like this is probably the best choice at the moment. This just requires a controller and a mic, and it doesn't use too much power. I got a 1000-watt power supply, so that should fix. If the power supply is the issue, which I'm all but certain it is, given by what I've been told by other people and my own research, I won't have to worry about that for a while, and I can also do stuff like, I don't know if I'm esports enough to add a third monitor, but I can at least get a better graphics card. Probably a better monitor down the line. Yeah. Just trying to look at the bright side of all this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see my friends for my birthday. It's kind of unlikely right now because of factors unrelated to the computer. Meaning, there's some freaking Dancing for the Stars event. Like the same week as my birthday, and like all the normies are going in droves to that, so I don't know if anything related to my my current computer problems will fix that, but it would be nice to go. But the computer's how I make money, so that's got to take priority, unfortunately. I should be getting some birthday money as well, so I might be able to, like, maybe get a graphics card by paying in installments. Or maybe my family will help me with the hotel room. I don't know. Clearly need a vacation, though. Won't be long, like 2 days tops. A couple people did, yes. Hello, by the way. That was a pretty good run. Oh, come on now. Don't feel bad because you can't donate. Come on now. Nobody's obligated to help me at all. Yes, it's needed, but I understand other currencies more than you think because of some business I do with like eShop cards and stuff. I understand. I appreciate the gesture. You don't have to. I have a lot of people I want to support, but you all know I don't make a lot of money, so I can't. It's just the reality of things. I appreciate it, though. Just hanging out is enough. Spread the word if you want. That's all that's needed. I wish I could support everybody that I like to watch, but I can't do that. No one can. Not possible to support everybody as much as we would like to. Yeah, I know Brazil currency is really, really rough right now, unfortunately. I know you might think that Americans don't think about that stuff, but I buy stuff from other countries, like games and stuff, so yeah, I understand. I appreciate me wanting to help at all, but don't feel like you have to. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's all that's needed. I don't know, Americans are kind of getting a taste of what other countries deal with anyway, with their money not being worth much anymore. We're kind of getting a wake-up call with that stuff, because everything has gone up a lot in price, and they're not paying us more. Netflix is a good example. Netflix is like, because they're gonna raise the price like twice in like 6 months. I personally don't care, but it's definitely something that's happening everywhere. Is inflation, especially in North America, is really bad. The dollar doesn't go very far anymore. I definitely think people in America will be more understanding of what people in other countries deal with. Their currency gets devalued, so I appreciate that you want to help, but do not help. Do not feel like you have to or feel bad. Yeah, Americans are starting to understand what like people in Brazil go through with currency being devalued and really bad people in charge that don't help us and make things worse. I think maybe there'll be less ignorant Americans out of this, which is a blessing in disguise, I guess, because Americans tend to think they're the best at everything and they don't care about anyone else because they've lived very privileged. Yeah, I haven't. I don't really have a lot of things. I never really have. I can understand that more than most. But everybody's kind of starting to wake up like, hey, you know, why does a large fries at McDonald's cost like $5 now? It used to be like $2, not that long ago. Taco Bell like burrito is like $4 now. It used to be 89 cents. People are starting to realize like, hey, something's wrong here. Hey, this is what other countries deal with. Same thing's happening to us now. Yeah, what's happening in America is kind of like what's been happening in other countries for a very long time, where the price of stuff is going up and our money's worth a lot less. So, and then the companies are taking full advantage of it. They're raising prices, even though they don't need to. People were already like leaving Netflix, for instance, just because you know, they don't have that much stuff anymore. But then they raised the price twice in like the span of a year, so a lot of people are just gonna pirate stuff instead. It's just like, doesn't that defeat the purpose? You know, they're charging us more for everything, and our dollar is not worth anywhere near as much as it used to be. If people are just gonna cancel, they're not gonna keep it. Streaming services are kind of just a meme, though, in general. It's actually more expensive to watch stuff on TV than it is to play video games now, which is ironic, because it used to be video games are like the most expensive hobby for a really long time. Up until they started getting stuff off Netflix. Like, when everything was on Netflix, watching TV was more cost-effective. But now there's like 800 streaming services, and they're all raising their prices, and they tend to only have like one or two things that people actually want to watch. It really is getting to the point where normies who just watch TV are spending more money on entertainment than gamers, which is a sign of how bad things are. It used to be, you know, just subscribe to Netflix or get a cable package, you know, if you didn't play video games or anything like that, and that was more than enough. But now it's not. Which is just messed up, because video games are supposed to be like the luxury premium thing, but it's actually becoming cheaper. I've played this game for about 10 hours, and it's $11 and I never have to pay for it again. That's like not even covering Netflix for a month anymore. That's just how messed up things are right now. I paid for this once. I've already gotten $10 worth of entertainment, in my opinion. Because this game costs the equivalent of 2 large fries at McDonald's right now. My neighbor, for instance, is basically a normie. She doesn't play video games, and neither does her brother. They spend a lot on cable and streaming services. I know, for instance, she subscribes to like 4 streaming services, and it's like averaging more than what I spend on video games a month, which is insane. Streaming bubble really bursted after everybody broke off from Netflix. And now it's like actually the most expensive entertainment by far. Remembers when Netflix had Disney movies? Does anyone still remember that? Netflix used to just have Disney movies on there, and it was like an insane deal. But then everybody's like, well, we can make our own service and make way more money. And then Netflix started losing its value, but their idea of being competitive is jacking up their prices, which is not working. People are just gonna pirate. Goodness, this is bullet hell. I don't think I'm gonna clear this, folks. It's okay. I'm having fun. I'm chill right now. Didn't know what I was getting myself into. Yeah, I can't move, man. Probably should have done this. Yeah, if I toss this run, it's totally my fault. I made some bad decisions. Forgot I was getting money. That's okay though. I'll get him next time. Oh yeah, it was close. Oh well. Oh, you can go back in there. Okay. Huh. Well, Powerful, the other problem with Netflix is that they set very high expectations for their original content, meaning stuff that's not licensed from elsewhere. And if it doesn't meet it, they cancel it like right away. Like the One Piece live action, for instance, was like insanely popular. Like they probably have greenlit like 3 more seasons of that, but then there's stuff like didn't they do like a Resident Evil? I don't watch TV. I just hear about this from friends and stuff. But they did like a Resident Evil, and they canceled it after like 1 season. So that's not helping keeping people around either. But then they keep raising their prices to the point where I've gotten my $10 worth out of this game. I mean, this game was like what, $11.50 or something. It was under $12. And I know that I already feel like I've gotten my money's worth. Personally. I feel like this game is awesome, and I like that I can just kind of turn it on and play it, and it loads quick, and it's, nice, easy gameplay. Whereas, like, watching a movie right now is insanely overpriced. I've only got one more thing left to unlock. The neighbor's got to be spending, I'd say, I don't know, I don't know her bills, and I wouldn't disclose them if I did, but it's got to be like a AAA game's worth on TV every month. If I spend that much on games, it's like either one-time purchases like this or PGR, which I do subscribe to PGR every month, but I play it every day, so it doesn't bother me. And that game's monetization is like really fair, so I feel like I get my money's worth. Oh, the point of the Resident Evil thing being bad is not the point. The point is that they cancel stuff really quick. And a lot of the other stuff people want to watch is on like 8 other streaming services. So, I think the point I'm trying to make is if you're into a wide type of games, it's cheaper than watching stuff right now. By a rather large margin. I own this game now, right? I don't even think this game has DRM. I could, like, probably play it on a laptop with no Steam or something. I've gotten $10 out of entertainment out of it. I'll definitely make some videos for this once my computer is fixed, because right now I've got a number of things holding me back from making content, but this game is pretty good.
来ましたか。いつかあな
I
たに
bet
会え
that
なくなったら
DMC anime they're putting on
寂しくなるかも。
Netflix will probably get canned
な
really
んで
quick.
も任務がありますので
Non-zero chance. Because they're probably going to expect One Piece numbers from it, which is just not going to happen. Especially because they've already tried... They've tried and failed to, They've tried and failed to do DMC anime before. I feel like people aren't going to have a lot of faith in it in general. I could be wrong, but... I remember when the DMC anime came out and not many people liked it, so... Best of luck to them. Especially because they're working with a company that cancels stuff for any reason. Meaning, it doesn't manage to take over the internet like One Piece and it's considered a failure. Which there's totally gonna be more of, by the way. I won't be surprised if, like, the Yu Yu Hakusho one that they did recently is probably gonna have the same fate. You know, it didn't make them a bajillion dollars, so it's clearly no one wants it. Instead of their reality is that their expectations are too high. Capcom also does this too. Capcom did this kind of thing first. Like, who remembers Darkstalkers Resurrection? They actually legit thought that that would sell enough copies to get a new one greenlit. I'm like, first off, you're releasing this right at the tail end of the PS4, when no one's really going to want to spend a lot more money on PS3. And then also, it's an ancient game that's been dissected down to a science. People understand, like, every frame of animation and how the code works and everything. It's not going to be appealing to people that are just looking for a fighting game to play. And of course it didn't do well. I don't think it did terribly, because the netcode was supposedly good, but they thought that seriously it was going to make enough money to get a new one greenlit, which is just straight delusional. That's not going to happen. There's only so many people that are going to be interested in an old fighting game. Especially one like that that wasn't as popular as Street Fighter. You know, they get away with porting Street Fighter 2 and 3 over and over because those games were mainstays in arcades for decades, but Darkstalkers was not. I only saw Vampire Savior a couple times, and I pretty much lived in the arcades. And somehow they thought that that meant people didn't want Darkstalkers. It's like, no, they want a new game. You're not going to get people, like, lining up to play a almost 20-year-old game. That game was almost 20 years old, because they did that port was, like, 2012, 2013. It was close to 20 years old. Like, dude, no one's going to be super excited to play that. The community will like it. because they'll have like a legal and more legit way to play. But it's not going to expand the fan base. It's just not going to. Capcom does that shit all the time. It's like, you can't expect the average person to be super excited to play, like, a 17-year-old fighting game. And the vast majority of the people playing are going to be, like, super hardcore wizards at it. It's just not going to happen. I wish that wasn't the case, but sometimes normies are more realistic than gamers. It's like, yeah, I don't want to put time into this 17-year-old game. I mean, that's totally understandable. I get a little... I'm like... I used to be a competitive fighting game player. I used to really do that stuff, like, all the time. But now it's like... Man, if I hop off this game for, like, a couple months, I might already fall behind. And that kind of influences how much and how little time I spend. Like, DNF Duel is a good example. I'll definitely buy the Season Pass. But, you know, it's like, there's not many people playing, especially on PC. It's a super Discord fighter on PC. There's, like, probably nobody in Ranked anymore. Maybe a couple... Maybe some people are streaming some lobbies or something. You're totally gonna have to go in a Discord and beg people. And that already makes me, like, not want to play it that much. Because that's more effort than I want to put in. That's not effort you have to put in playing, like, Fortnite, for instance. You know, you just kind of log on and play. A lot of fighting gamers don't understand, like, that's part of the appeal. Not having to beg people to play. Can I just play normal? The fuck is this? Play as a shit officer. I don't want to do this. They kind of did that with DMC as well. Like, DMC 4 Special Edition was, like, super random. They're like, hey, we put out this game 7 years ago, but we're gonna add 3 new characters for some reason. It's like, well, why? like, what's the point of doing this unless you're gonna put out a new game? How many people are, like, realistically gonna buy something like that? And they didn't really fix any of the problems with that game either. The level design and the fact that the game is pretty much only designed for Nero and everybody else struggles to fight certain enemies. The backtracking, like, none of that stuff was fixed. And you think that, like, after 7 years they would have put some effort into that, but it ended up just being... Just dump these characters in the existing game and charge more money for it. Which was still a good game, but... I totally feel like that was a Netflix test as well. This is really boring. I don't know why they think stuff like this is fun. Play as a shit character in a gimmick mode. I'm about to rage quit this. This is not fun at all. Can I skip this? Actually play the game? Instead of making me play as a generic peon? Try to find a way out. How? I don't know why they waste time on minigames like this. They're not fun. And the rewards aren't worth it. You get shit for doing this. It's not the normal gameplay, so it's not fun. Like, why don't you buff older characters more or something instead of stuff like this that people only do for the reward? Alright, there we go. I don't get what the point of that was. Weird flex. Oh, is it gonna be more of this maze? Okay, I'm not playing Metal Gear VR missions. Okay, good. I actually get to play as a not garbage character. I don't know if people remember this, but DMC4 Special Edition, if you go back and play that game, it actually basically hints that a DMC5 was coming. And obviously now, you know, so much time has passed, we know that it's true, but that was the main takeaway from that, is that, like, regardless of how well it sold, they were already working on one, or at least, like, had it greenlit at the time that the Special Edition released. But I feel like it actually sold quite well, so they probably expedited it. But yeah, that is something that happened. I don't know if a lot of people realize that. It has like a cutscene where you see Virgil and some random woman who's clearly Nero's mother. And I don't feel like they would have done that if they weren't going to make a new game. I mean, it's already painfully obvious that he just had a random bystander as his lover or whatever, but yeah, I don't want to do this. This is not fun. I'm not about to do this. I spend money on this game. I don't want to do that. That's just making myself frustrated for no reason. I'll do the rest of this though. Yeah, I can do Operation Guardians and Curse Waves. That minigame is shit. I'm sorry. Minigame is garbaggio. I'm not doing it. I actually really like that about this game. It's not like DFO where you have to do like every minigame whether you like it or not because they're you know, they give you such good stuff. The rewards in this game are the what's it called? I can't talk right now. The rewards in this game are basically just they're for free players. If you want to get a bit of an edge over people that pay, then you can do them. But if you spend money on the game at all, there's like no real reason to do it. And I actually really like... Some people might not like that, but I actually think it's awesome that they do it that way. It's like, hey, if you support us, and you don't want to play these trash minigames, you don't have to. I actually really like that. There's definitely one of the things that sucks about these games is when they force you to do the events. The events oftentimes are not fun. This game is pretty much balanced in a way, you know, if you give us a couple bucks a month, if you don't want to do these lame mini-games, you don't have to. It's a far cry from DFO, where that game feels like you need to play it all the time, and sometimes the mini-games are real crap. actually really nice of them to realize that not everybody wants to do that. Alright, so I only care about getting the S-Rank selector. I'll probably spend it on Luna. Oh, yeah, I don't really care about the rest. Wasn't Valhalla Knights 3 Vita exclusive? I mean, yeah, it was pretty much destined to fail. The Vita is a lot like the Switch. It has a lot of amazing games, but it also has a lot of crap, and even the good games like barely run. So the thing about the PSP was, yes, it was easy to pirate. Anybody could do it. But the thing that made people, at least some people, still buy games was the fact that the memory cards were cheaper. Now, memory sticks were still relatively expensive, but the price to storage ratio was way better than the Vita. The Vita had proprietary memory cards, and it was like $100 for 64 gigs, which even in like 2012, 2013 electronics, that's still insanely expensive. I think it was funny when they announced that people that bought the Vita actually had a very high attach rate, higher than like other consoles, meaning that, you know how people that had like a 360 or an Xbox One at the time would like just play like Dead Rising and Halo and Call of Duty and stuff, and they wouldn't spend that much money. Vita owners actually spent a lot of money, but the issue with that was that the memory card held you back. The memory card directly limited how much money you could give them. And I'm almost entirely certain that's why Nintendo did not do that. Now, they didn't do that with the 3DS, which was like the big advantage of the 3DS, was that you could just use any micro SD card. And they didn't try to nickel and dime you with that, the proprietary cards. But I definitely feel like they might have tried something like that if they didn't see how much it backfired on the Vita. Because I'm proof of that. I bought a lot of Vita games, and luckily most of them have been ported by now. But there's definitely some that are still stuck on there. Both Tales games are stuck on there. Muramasa Rebirth, like, I can't play those anymore. I have to resort to emulation. Yeah, the Vita was just embarrassing. It's like, you have data that tells you that people are buying a lot of stuff on this platform, but then you make it so that people don't want to buy things because the memory cards are so expensive, and it's only 64 gigs. The thing about Vita games as well is they were quite a bit bigger than most 3DS games. I remember having some Vita games that were like 5 or 6 gigs, which, like, with modern storage now, like, you know, I've got like 2 terabytes on my Steam Deck. 5 gigs is nothing, but when you only have a 64 gig card in there, a game that's like 3 to 4 gigs is like a big fraction of what you can put on there. The Vita is just a mess. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. If you know that people spend a lot of money on the platform, then, like, maybe you should make it so people actually want to spend money. The Vita just proves that the people that make decisions at these companies aren't always very smart. Because they had a good thing going. Because the thing about the Vita was that you got way more console ports, right? Now, they weren't all great, but there were a number of them that were actually on par with the PS3 ports at the time. You could not get that on the 3DS at all. The 3DS had weird, like, mid-gen games, and they had, like, good exclusives, but generally, if a game was on 3DS and Vita, if it was cross-platform, the Vita version was always better by a rather large margin. Meaning, if it was like a 2D indie game, you got like double the resolution, more than double the resolution. Sometimes the performance would be better as well. That's kind of why I never really got a 3DS, because most of the stuff that I wanted to play was Vita exclusive, and the stuff that wasn't still ran better. There wasn't really much of a reason to have one. But yeah, I guarantee you, if these rumors of them making a competitor handheld to compete with the Steam Deck are true, that they will definitely not do that again. I guarantee you they will not do that again. They're gonna be just like, hey, here, you can. It'll be like the Steam Deck, where you can probably put like a micro SD in there, and then you can also swap out the built-in memory. I guarantee that they will do that because I know they've learned their lesson. Because like people that own a Switch have a really high attach rate too. But the fact that you can just go get like a 1 terabyte, uh, what's it called, SD card and just buy anything you want has made them a lot of money. Way more money than they expected, I think. Well, Phantasy Star Nova is for sure never getting a port. That's uh that's definitely not happening. That's not even being negative. That's just the straight truth. They're never gonna bring that game back. Ragnarok Odyssey is probably a rights nightmare. Let's see here. I don't know if I'm going on my trip or not because of this computer problem, but I kind of want to see if there's anything else coming out this month. Berserk Boy I'll definitely get. That's in a couple days. Uh, let's see here. What's this? This looks whack. Props for showing gameplay right away, though. I actually legit hate looking for stuff like this on here, because a lot of times they take forever to show gameplay. Contra's a maybe. Contra's a maybe. I don't know how much Contra costs, actually. How much does it cost? Contra's a maybe. That game runs on the Steam Deck too, so if I have more computer problems than I envisioned, I can probably play that still. uh, Contra's a maybe. What's this? Nope. DNF Dual Monk, I kind of have to do, because I begged for him to be in the game so much. I'll definitely do that. Good lord, this looks terrible. Man, beat 'em ups are in a real dire state right now. I don't know if you guys have noticed. There's a lot of beat 'em ups that are coming out soon, and they pretty much all look terrible. Like, the only beat 'em up I'm looking forward to right now is Mayhem Brawler 2, which is probably like at least a year away. Everything else that's coming out looks dire. I have no interest. Like, the G.I. Joe game looks really bad, for instance. The game's got nice art, but the gameplay looks really boring. I won't be playing it. This is about what I expected to happen, though. Beat 'em ups are known to be profitable now, but they just don't know how to make good ones, or they get the wrong people to do it. And then they wonder, like, why isn't this selling? It's just because you're competing with Streets of Rage 4 and Fight and Rage. Vengeance Hunters I need to see more of. Right now there's not enough of that to really have an educated opinion. But yeah, I am kind of interested in that, actually. I need to see more, though. It's looking like there's not much else happening in March. Looks like I might grab Contra. I'll get Berserk Boy. But that's probably like $30 tops, so working for my neighbor will cover all that. Yeah, it's looking pretty dire. There's not really any games I'm really interested in playing right now. Which is a good thing, because I might have to spend more money on my computer. I can't really complain too much. Oh, good lord, this looks poor. No thanks. Rushing Beat is wait and see. I think that game might actually have some sauce to it, but uh, it just looks really bad. The art style is really bad. But I think the gameplay might actually be pretty good, which that might be enough to make some people not want to play it. Just the fact that it doesn't look good. The art style is pretty cheap looking. It looks like a cheap indie game, but I feel like it might actually have some good gameplay. Uh, but yeah, I need to see more on that one. That one's not even really on my radar yet, because they haven't shown anything on it in months. I imagine it's probably coming out this year, but probably towards the second half. But yeah, they've only shown like a couple seconds of gameplay, so it looks like one of those games that might just look really ugly, but actually might have some merit gameplay wise, which is fine with me. I don't need everything to have beautiful graphics. I'll look past it if it's fun to play. Like Spell Disc, that game I was playing at the beginning of the stream. It's not like high production values, but it's a fun game. I really enjoy playing it. I don't care that it doesn't have the best pixel art. But yeah, if it looks the way it does and it plays bad, then it's probably no one's gonna buy it. That game, unless they like massively change the art style, is gonna really depend on how the gameplay is. I feel like a lot of the beat 'em ups right now actually have like really good presentation, but they don't have good gameplay. So, and it's not just me that feels that way either, because everybody points out that like the graphics look good, but the gameplay is not good. Like clearly, people have caught on. Like, yeah, it might look better than Streets 4, but it plays worse in every way. And it's like, do you really want to spend money on that when you can go get Streets 4 and the DLC for like $20 and play that game for dozens, if not hundreds, of hours? I think it's a hard sell for most, which I totally understand. Turtles, for instance, looks better than Streets 4, but also plays way worse. That game is heavily carried by nostalgia and presentation. Gameplay-wise, it doesn't come close to Streets 4 at all. Even though it does have some things I wish were in Streets 4, like the dodging and the running and stuff. Like, those things I would like in Streets 4, but I've played Streets 4, like, probably like 15 times more than Turtles, just because the gameplay is better. So, I don't know. Yeah, Rushing Beat, they barely showed any gameplay, so I'm not really paying attention to that one right now. You don't necessarily need to announce a release date, but I hope that when they show it again, we'll get a little bit better idea of how it's actually going to play. The air combos and stuff look pretty cool. The art style is hideous. Yeah, the game looks very cheap, but I can look past that. I can't vouch for anyone else, but I definitely placed a lot of stuff with less than perfect graphics just because I enjoy playing the game, and there's a lot of stuff with amazing graphics that I won't touch because I don't like the gameplay. So I don't want to write it off just yet, but the trailer didn't really show much. I think it might actually be a really fun game. Yeah, I think they probably announced it and they were only working on it for a few months, so who knows? Could go either way. Yeah, that game looks cool too, but no release date, so I'm not really following it closely. I see their progress on Twitter and it looks really cool, but I don't know. Indie developers are announcing stuff way too soon now. They're making the same mistake that big companies do, where they announce stuff with like no gameplay, or it's like Hollow Knight Silk Song, where they actually announce it with gameplay, but then like 5 years later and the game's still not out, and they haven't shown anything since. So those kinds of games are like they're like really far back in my mind, and like this looks like something I would play, but it has no release date in sight, and they barely shown any gameplay, so it's not the kind of thing that I'm constantly thinking about, like, you know, a game I'm excited for that actually has a release date, or like a playable demo, or at least they've done like some videos of just some unedited gameplay so I can actually see what buying the product's going to be like. Anything other than that, I don't really put too much I don't put too much weight on it. It's not good to get excited for stuff that's so far away, just in general. Yeah, Rushing Beat, Mayhem Brawler, maybe Vengeance Hunters if they show more gameplay. Those are like the only beat 'em ups I'm really looking forward to right now. Action roguelike wise, uh, there's a couple I'm really looking forward to, but they don't have release dates yet. Bushiden as well, I'm really amped up for, but it's never coming out. uh, let's see here. Almost my entire wish list is stuff with no release date. Geno Kids is also like at least a year away, so I'm not even really looking at their progress. It's not coming anytime soon. That game is a long ways away. Probably be a while before they have like another demo or something. Mayhem Brawler 2 I'm interested in. I don't think that's gonna make this year though, from what I've seen. Morbid Metal as well I'm excited for, but let's see. Yeah, there hasn't been anything on this game in ages. Oh, Rotwood. I looked up this game and the combat was really terrible. It's one of those games that has like really good graphics, but the gameplay was really boring. I was kind of disappointed, but that's kind of the impression I got from it when they announced it. They have like a really good art team, but then like the game just isn't fun to play. I hope they turn this one around, but from what I saw of it, is not my kind of game at all. It's more for the Souls crowd than the actual beat 'em up crowd. Is it's just too slow paced. It's a little bit disappointing, but I kind of expected that to happen. Rustle looks really cool. This looks like the kind of game I would play the shit out of. This game too is also a roguelike. Looks pretty good. I was interested in this one too. That one looks like one I might like. What else we got here? I actually did not like this game. I tried this and thought it was had very boring combat. It's one of those games that look really good in the trailer. Actually playing it was boring. Definitely, that game wasn't it, man. Unfortunately. Shadow of the Ninja remake I'll definitely play. Uh, Nothing else is coming out anytime soon. Let's see, how's this game doing? This was like $6. I don't know if this is auto attack though, or it's a survivor game. Hard pass. Yeah, I don't want to play that. We'll take that one out of the wish list. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and chill out for a bit. Because I got to go to my neighbor's house in about an hour and a half. And there's a stream I want to watch. So, I'll see you guys probably over there. We'll probably play some Spell Disc. Maybe some Knights of Valor. Uh, whatever else. And I won't have the new power supply for like 2 days. So, the good news, for those who weren't here for the beginning of the stream, is that Amazon is letting me pay for stuff in installments now. So, if the power supply fixes the entire issue, which I have a lot of faith that it will, given by what I know from other people, I might actually get a new graphics card too. So, I think this might be a good thing in the long run. But for now, like most of my controller ports in the back, my USB ports don't even work right now. So I'm really limited in what I can do. We'll try to fix that soon. I'll see you guys in probably like a couple hours.